Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we are here for the first in a 5-part series as we stroll along the Camino Real.
Camino Real.
Camino Real?
Camino Real. I have no idea how this is pronounced. No one does.
You know, it's funny, because everything for some reason, it was in the back of my mind, you had better figure out how to say that. I think because those are both, you look at it and it looks like Camino Real. It looks like Camino Real.
I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced Camino Real.
But something in the back of my mind said, something's weird here. Yeah. Look it up. And the way it's explained to me, I would think that you would say Camino Real.
Yeah.
Because everyone says it's the anglicized way to pronounce those words, which it's Camino. El Camino. I mean, your entire life, my entire life, I've seen that word as Camino.
Yeah.
Not Camino. So I would never think that Camino is the way that the anglicized version of that would be. Now, before we really get into things, I think that it is unfortunate that I know we are supposed to be saying that in the anglicized way, because I imagine it is a very big spoiler for the meaning of this play.
Think so?
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see.
But first, we've got a little bit of recap on what happened in the first 5 blocks of the Camino Real.
So, what happened? Prologue. Don Quixote and his squire Sancho stumble out of the wilderness and into the plaza. Sancho decides to leave. Quixote lays down to stay a while. Prudence lost her poodle. Block 1. Prudence laments. She begs Jacques to tell Camille that he wants her back. Block 2. The survivor stumbles into the plaza and is upset that the fountain is dry. Security shows up and promptly shoots him. Still, he finds his way to Siete Mare, a place of ill repute. Here, the forbidden word, hermano, is spoken. The survivor dies. Before there is too much commotion, the gypsy announces a lunar fiesta to restore her daughter's virginity. Enter Kilroy. Block 3. Kilroy is an American, and because of his bum ticker, he had to give up his promising boxing career as well as his one true love. After having trouble on a ship, he ends up in the Camino Real, where he is pickpocketed, and he is forced to take his championship belt to the loan shark. Block 4. The Baron is no holy man. Kilroy is certainly American. Block 5. Jacques and Kilroy have hit it off. They're hopeful types, after all. The magnificent Arch of Triumph is the way out of town, it turns out, but it is a long way down.
Okay. Where do you want to start with this? Because, woof.
Yeah. I think there's a lot going on here.
I agree. I agree.
That is not true. You do not agree. That was the point. That's why I was starting there, is because the preliminary discussions we've had on this is Dalton's flagrant nothing happened.
Nothing
happened.
No, nothing ever happens.
Nothing happened.
Nothing ever happens.
Flagrant salty.
So.
Flagrant saltism.
I've got a theater background.
I know.
This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous how?
It is, okay, so you mentioned, I thought, theater, plays, things along this nature had more, direction, stage direction. Like no, this is pretty standard to the point where I'd say this actually has a lot more stage direction than I have typically seen. However, the stage directions are incredibly, incredibly detailed, yet very, very strangely obscure. Does that make sense?
No, that does
not.
No,
it does not. There was one point where Gutman comes out with something, and it says he could have this or this. You think it's Gutman?
Gutman.
Gutman.
We're just going to argue about the pronunciation of everything.
I'm fine with that.
Jacques?
It seems very just all over the place, almost kind of like surrealism, kind of like a surrealist theater production, which is strange for Tennessee Williams. And I would assume that's why this was not as popular. But boy, is this just all over the place.
It's out there. It's
crazy out there.
It's definitely out there.
Do you have any idea what's even going on at this point, what we're actually looking at here?
I have more of a grasp, I believe, of the symbols and meanings at play than I do what's actually going on, if that makes any sense.
Yes!
I can't see this play, and I believe...
Yeah, nothing's happening, but a lot's happening.
I believe that seeing this play would remove the symbolism that I have in my mind.
It would, and you would just be really confused.
Well, with the actual visual, you're going to have a lot more noise. A lot more visual noise going on.
And there's a lot of what seems to be very jarring elements throughout this. The characters are coming through the audience. They're yelling at you. There's bangs and crashes here and there. It's kind of a standard in theater. I can't speak because I think this was in the 50s, correct? 1950-something?
I believe so. 52, 53?
I couldn't say if that was a standard at that point in time, but it's pretty standard to have, characters coming through your audience today. But these characters are not only coming through the audience, but they're kind of interacting with you.
Okay.
It seems very bizarre because it's now placing the audience into the production because, you're playing with reactions, things like that. But then the characters just kind of go off on these strange tangents. I have no idea where they are. Yes. I have no idea what this set looks like, even though it's described to me.
That's part of the problem I'm having with it, is it's difficult for me to see the place. But I think part of what's going on there with your audience interactions and whatnot, breaking the fourth wall, is to dirty it up.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think part of it's a beautiful message that's being given to us. It's a beautiful and depressing message that's being given to us. And I think that the goal of Tennessee Williams here might be, I'm going to screw with him a little bit.
I think so.
Because what he's wanting to do is he's wanting to put us in that place.
Okay.
And in that place, it's difficult to find the meaning of life. Right?
Okay.
This is all about destitution. And when you're in a destitute place, it's difficult to find meaning.
Okay.
And by muddying up the production itself, making it just a crash, like the only thing I can really hear when I'm trying to envision this is like a crashing sound. Nothing here is pleasing to I'm going to say this isn't Shakespeare.
Okay.
But I don't mean that there's not meaning here. I mean that when Shakespeare was... Well, I guess maybe even that's not fair. Because Shakespeare had some crazy stuff going on.
This is fair. Is this a real place?
What do you mean?
Is the Camino Real a good place?
A good place?
Not a good place. A real place. Does it exist?
I don't believe so.
Are these characters...
Do you mean...
Is this a physical location? Is this
like
realistic?
If you wrote a play about Kansas City?
No. These characters in this little area they're in, is this an actual place or is this fictitious? Is this like the characters are dead? Maybe they're in hell. Are the characters in some kind of dreamlike state?
No, I think that this is very much meant to be an actual place.
You think so?
Yeah, not that it's meant to take part in Detroit.
But you think like the Camino Real is a real place?
Yeah, I think that Tennessee Williams is writing it to be a real place.
I don't think so.
You think it's hell?
Yeah.
That they're not escaping from.
It is some kind of bizarre, dreamlike, maybe perhaps hell. But we have weird characters from literature just kind of popping in and out. Our prologue starts with Don Quixote and Sancho.
Well, that's Shakespearean.
But then we get Esmeralda from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
So?
We get literary characters popping in and out throughout this. It's not real.
But what do those characters bring with them? That is the important part here.
Each character brings something incredibly unique to themselves.
You've read Don Quixote, right?
I have not. I've seen the musical production countless times.
Oh, I thought you were in... I thought you were in Don Quixote.
No.
What is Don Quixote about?
Don Quixote is about the man Don Quixote. He believes himself to be a knight.
Got dreams.
He's got big dreams, and he's going to ride off into the sunset and be a gallant knight. And he's got his squire by his side, and in all reality, he's just a crazy, lonely old man.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
What happens here with Don Quixote?
He's just a crazy, lonely old man. Sancho leaves him.
Yeah.
Gives him the boot.
His buddy leaves him even.
But he can find a new squire.
He can.
At the Camino Real, where dreams are possible.
I don't know where you got that.
No?
No, I don't know where you got that. There's some beautiful quotes here.
There are beautiful quotes in this. Do you have a couple?
Going back to old Donnie himself. Blue is the color of distance and nobility.
You like that?
I like that.
Make you feel good about yourself?
What is that telling us?
One should wear blue.
Well, it's telling us that blue is far away, and so are the nobility.
Okay. Okay.
So are the nobility.
It seems to be a seedy place. It does. It's a rough neighborhood. From 14, times and conditions have undergone certain changes since we were friends in Paris, and now we dismiss young lovers with skins of silk and eyes like child's first prayer. We put them away as lightly as we put away white gloves meant only for summer, and pick up a pair of black ones suitable for winter.
It's a beautiful quote.
Tennessee Williams is taking some punches here. He's good.
You know, why do you read that one?
Because I enjoyed it.
Just because we're... Okay, so you're just getting into quotes?
And we're talking about a character here who is putting away the finer things in life.
We're talking about the literature here. Yeah. But, I mean, you wanna follow your own drum. That's fine. Did you get your hippie drum yet?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
It's wonderful.
Good.
Carry on.
When so many are lonely, as seem to be lonely, it would be inexcusably selfish to be lonely alone.
Revolution only needs good dreamers who remember their dreams.
So what are we doing here?
We're saying this has a lot of good merit to it.
When so many are lonely as seem to be lonely, it would be inexcusably selfish to be lonely alone. This is a collection of lonely people.
I would agree.
It would be inexcusably selfish for them to be lonely alone. They're coming here to be collective. Where are they coming to be collective? They're coming to a place where the phrase tacos, tacos, Fritos as a sales pitch is the same level of worth as the next line, love, love. Does anybody want some love?
Fair enough. I can't put my finger on this one just yet.
The meaning to it?
Yes. I think it's coming. I at least hope there is some meaning that we're given here. It could just be very open-ended and we're just supposed to take what we take from it. But there's a lot of different focuses here. We mentioned, these items are the same as love. But possessions are very important in this area.
Well, why are possessions very important?
Possessions are what would bind you to your material world. That would be what is left of your physical life.
They're important because no one has any.
You think so?
Down to the fact that what's going on with the Plaza Fountain?
It's dry.
That's the main symbol that we've gotten so far through 5 blocks.
Correct.
What does that suggest to you, the fountain being dry?
If the fountain is dry, there's no sustenance. We're suffering.
We're suffering, and the hope springs eternal.
The well hath run dry.
Hope springs eternal, and there's no hope in this town because even the fountain's dry.
Okay.
That spring is dry.
Fair.
We even have going back to dreams. The survivor and the dreamer. Do you remember that scene with the survivor and the dreamer?
Yes.
The survivor has survived whatever it is that he survived, and he's gotten to the town in time to be shot.
Correct.
And the dreamer crawls up to the survivor, and he asks him where. And the dreamer tells him here. This is where your dreams are, pal. This is destitution. This is destitution. But after the fountain, we have one theme which reoccurs and reoccurs and reoccurs. And it's even planted in that prologue with Quixote.
Okay.
Quixote. How do you say it?
Don Quixote.
Quixote. It's even planted there. Did you pick up on it?
What is that?
Birds.
Okay.
The idea of birds. The cockatoo won't shut up. You've got the clubs, the bars, whatever they are.
All named after birds.
Pink flamingo, yellow pelican, blue warbler, whatever. What do birds represent?
Freedom.
The ability to fly away, right?
Correct.
To escape. To dream and be among the clouds. But not here.
All the birds are trapped.
On page 8, along those lines, the beginning of the Camino Real. The Camino Real. Halt there. It says, and turn back. Traveler, for the spring of humanity has gone dry in this place, and, Quixote, there are no birds in this country except wild birds that are tamed and kept in cages. Because we must remember on page 11, sometimes we sleep too long in the afternoon, and when we wake, we find things changed. If you dream too long, those dreams have not changed the world. They've been abandoned.
Okay.
Because if you dream too long without taking action, you're just a caged bird.
Okay.
You're just kept in the one place. Places can come to embody ideas. And places where ideas are embodied by the populace can go one of two ways. Very, very good, or they can eat people. And on 35, we have a quote that suggests this place is eating people. The exchange of serious questions and ideas, especially between persons from the opposite sides of the plaza, is regarded unfavorably here. You can't talk about ideas. There's an old saying, little people talk about people.
Okay.
Regular people talk about things. Big people talk about ideas. This place has a kibosh on talking about ideas.
Okay.
You can't even try to be a big people here because it is frowned upon to even talk about the ideas. So while and whereas everyone has their dreams, it is very much expected that you keep it to yourself.
Okay.
It is expected that you not utilize your wings and fly away. You are stuck on these blocks.
Okay.
Because, what is the way out?
What is the way out?
What is the way out of this? What is the way out of this town?
That way. Up the stairs, isn't it?
The magnificent Arch of Triumph
Okay.
is the way out. The magnificent Arch of Triumph is the way out of this terrible little place where everyone's dreams get the kibosh, where everyone's wings get clipped, and they're kept in a cage.
I'm telling you right now, part 1, none of this is real.
You think?
100%.
Okay.
It's just too over the top. It's too theatrical for a play. It's just ridiculous.
Too theatrical for a play?
Yes.
What do you mean?
So it's very surreal. It's very theatrical. It's over the top. Everything is overdone. Everything is played up. It's not just we are presenting a story here. We're not presenting just a standard story of the Camino Real, unless Tennessee Williams was just off his rocker writing this. It just seems too dreamlike. It seems too out there to be real. There will be some payoff here. We will find out something in the end that the characters are trapped here for some reason. Unless this is all just some overarching mega idea that all your hopes and dreams are going to die one day. And you're going to end up on the Camino Real.
Camino Real.
Whatever.
Dalton, you're from this place.
You think so?
To an extent, I'm from this place. Kansas City is very much this way. You can have your dreams, pal, but don't talk about them here.
Okay.
Don't talk about them here, you moron. Aren't you from that place?
Fair.
What is St. Joe like?
Awful. St. Joe's awful.
The only thing I could think of when reading this was St. Joe.
You think so? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. And like I said, even if you read the stage direction, you cannot visualize this. This makes no sense.
So there's a very big difference in art between what is true and what is real.
Okay.
Isn't there?
Agreed.
That is the idea of a symbol itself. So Tennessee Williams herein has utilized symbols, the birds, the Arch de Triomphe, the spring being the fountain being dry. Mm-hmm. But I believe this play itself is a symbol.
Okay.
I think this play itself is a symbol of don't stay in one spot too long because that spot will take your dreams.
And maybe that's what it is.
You've got to keep moving.
Maybe that's what it is. And we do get characters here who actively push against that idea of giving up their dreams, giving up their hopes.
Who is it?
Is it the boxer,
Kilroy. What's different about Kilroy?
Kilroy is a bit of a strange character. Kilroy has showed up with these golden gloves and a big gaudy champ belt. Kilroy seems well off for himself.
Well, no, he doesn't. He's come up on hard times.
He's come up on hard times because somebody stole his wallet.
No. He's got a bum ticker.
Well, his heart's going to explode, but I mean, he is well off. Yes.
Dude, I don't even think that's true.
So it looks like everybody else...
He's got a belt and he's got golden gloves because he won them with boxing.
And clearly he had money until it was stolen.
He had some money. He even talked about the pittance that it was.
I feel like Kilroy is much better off than the other characters.
Well, I don't know that well, after losing his money, I think there's a problem there. But Kilroy's the newest character.
And he's still clinging to his old ways.
He's also
clinging to that material world.
He's also an American.
Okay.
He's very American.
He is. Looking for other Americans.
Desperate to find other Americans.
Yes, he is.
Because they might be on the level. They might be on the wavelength.
Okay.
Nothing else there?
Where are you going with that?
Well, I think there's something to be said for the reason that Kilroy was willing to part with the belt, was not willing to part with the gloves.
It's utilitarian.
Go on.
What's the belt do for you? Nothing.
It is ornament.
Yeah. But those gloves, baby, you put them back on one day.
Well, the golden gloves represent the will to fight.
Okay.
Not the ability to have fought.
Okay.
Gloves themselves say, I am a fighter. The belt itself says, I have fought. This is someone who is more than willing to get rid of the belt.
Okay.
The belt that said champ. Very important. Might inflate someone's ego to the nth degree, right?
Sure.
Champ, I'm the champ. I'm the champion. You see it all the time, especially in boxing.
But he's not giving up his will to fight.
Someone wins the belt, they lose their will to fight.
Okay.
He's still got that will to fight. He's still looking for the way out of this crappy little town, isn't he?
I just don't think there is a way out. I think these characters are forever trapped here. I think it is going to be some major, weird, symbolic thing, and these characters are destined to always exist on the Camino Real.
I still don't think you're saying
I don't care. But this is a trip, man. This is strange.
Sometimes we sleep too long in the afternoon, and when we wake, we find things changed.
Senora.
It feels a lot like that. That weird moment where you pass out in the middle of the day.
Fair.
And you wake up and you don't know where you are, you don't know what time it is, you think it's morning. You know what I mean? Have you ever done that?
Yes.
Surely you've done that.
Yes.
I know you've done that. Of all the people I know you've done that. You can be counted on to have passed out at some point and not known where you were.
Thank you.
What happens in those weird moments after you wake up after unexpectedly falling asleep for 4 hours?
You panic. It's disorienting.
Yeah. What's this play like?
Panic and disorientation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if that has a lot to do with it.
So the characters were just sleeping and dreaming in their own little worlds, and then they awoke to reality.
I don't think I'm suggesting that. Maybe I'm suggesting. I'm not sure what level on which you're speaking.
Okay, so the characters have all these dreams and ambitions. They've got this great thing. They've got a great.
And one day they woke up and they were 34.
And then one day they woke up and
they had
realized,
not written that
oh,
novel.
Hell, here we are. Okay.
I was going into my story there, but you had to cut me off.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
The story of your life, huh?
Pretty much, pretty much. So I did a little bit of reading into this play itself, just trying to get a grasp on it.
You didn't lay a spoiler on me, did you?
No.
Okay.
This did not do well. This is not considered a great of Tennessee Williams. It's an obscure piece. It did not have a long run. It's very, very rarely produced.
You know what I would be willing to bet?
What's that?
I would be willing to put $100 down if we could ask Tennessee Williams this is one of his favorite pieces.
You think so?
Yes.
I have a feeling that we are never going to find any of the answers we're asking right now to the questions that we're asking. This is going to be weird and trippy the entire way through, and we're going to sit here and just try to put our thumbs on it.
I would give $100 if we could ask Tennessee Williams. This might be his favorite play that he ever wrote.
Think so?
Yeah, that's how things go. So a lot of times, it's always been the case for me. But if you read interviews with a lot of artists or watch them, I guess we live in that world now, huh? They will often say when speaking about their own work, like for me, one of my most successful short stories with readers is one that I wrote. I wrote it on a mundane Wednesday in a library because I had to force myself to write something.
Okay.
But the ones that I really like that I wrote, and when people read them, they're like, I don't know what the hell you were doing, pal.
Yeah.
And that's often seems to be the thing. I think Joyce was that way, I believe. His favorite. That's how Ulysses went. I think Joyce was in love with Ulysses and then dropped it, put it out there, and people said, I don't know what you're doing, but this isn't good. And then somewhere, someone along the line said, oh, this is brilliant. This is what literature is supposed to be, I think. I didn't really read it, but I have a review due.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it became a literary phenomenon.
I couldn't tell you the author of it. It's the same problem with the novel Gilead. That book's terrible.
Yeah?
But Barack Obama gave it his seal of approval. Said it's a great book. It's a classic.
Yeah.
People love it.
I bet Barack Obama never read it.
That book is garbage. But anyway, Adrian, do you have anything else to say about this? Because I am still not sure I've got a firm grasp of this yet.
I think it all goes back to that fountain.
Okay.
The fountain is dried up.
The well hath run dry.
The town doesn't even have the wherewithal to keep the water running.
Okay.
The people themselves still go to the fountain.
Okay.
The people want to dream. The people want that hope to spring eternal. The town itself is the corrupt member, is the bad guy.
Okay.
And you get this in the fact that the largest representative of the town that we've seen so far is the cop. The cop didn't ask questions. He just pulled his gun and shot the survivor.
Yep.
Well, he was moving too much. Didn't like it. The town itself will not allow them to leave. Everyone here has dreams. Everyone here thinks more of themselves.
Okay.
Which is really sort of a Southern idea, right?
Okay.
The Southern aristocrat might not even be someone that has money. Right? Those ideals feel very, not South American, very Southern American.
Okay.
And maybe that's something that goes deeper than I know. But you get that a lot, don't you? The Southern aristocrat that doesn't have anything.
Okay.
But he fancies himself an aristocrat.
Still upholds those traditions, upholds
Yes.
those ideals.
Yes.
Okay.
That feels like where we're going and what we're getting into. Send us out, Salty.
We'll see. We have 5 more blocks on the Camino Real. And we will be back next week with those 5 more blocks. If you'd like to join us on this journey, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And if you want to help us create more great content like this, or whatever this was here on
Or start making great content.
There's a link, as always, to our Patreon to be found in the description below.